of this group of homeschoolers from ages 12 to 18. We've been working tirelessly since February, putting this together. It's a whole family affair. They come and we build sets together. Some have helped make costumes and done props, everything. It's a huge, huge group effort. If you notice, I am wearing one of these snazzy things. This was actually 3D printed by a couple of kids in the cast. It is Shakespeare's actual crest of arms, coat of arms. When we went to London a few years ago, of course, the Shakespeare trip, we saw this. And that's where, you'll see it in the set too. Anyways, these are for sale at the concession stand. Couple of announcements. Thank you for wearing your masks while you're not eating. Of course, while you're eating, you're welcome to take them off. And please turn your phones on to silent. Yes, that's what everyone does that. And thank you again so much for coming. And please, without further ado, as you like it.
Come listen to a story about a fair Rosalind. Poor rich girl barely had herself a friend. Then one day Duke banished her for good, as she ran with her cousin right into the wood. Pardon, that is, shepherds, lionesses. Well, the first thing you know, Roz dressed like a boy, while Adam says, Orlando, where's all your joy? Said, express how you feel out amongst the goats. So we wrote them all down and started hanging notes. Love notes, that is. Bad rhymes, sad puns. As you like it.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will, but a poor 1,000 crowns. And as thou sayest, charge my brother on his blessing to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother Jaques, he keeps at school, and report speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or, to speak more properly, keeps me here at home unkept. For call you that keeping for a gentleman of my birth that differs not from the stalling of an ox? This is it, Adam, that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, though yet I know no wise remedy of how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go part, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Mary, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God made a poor, unworthy brother of yours, with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed and be not wife.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat cuss with them? Where prodigal portion have I come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I, better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you, my better, in that you are the firstborn. But the same tradition takes not away my blood, were there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you. Albeit, I confess your coming before me is nearer to his reverence.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother. You are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boyce. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat to this other, had pulled out thy tongue for saying so. Thou hast railed on thyself.
Sweet masters, be patient. For your father's remembrance, be at accord.
Let me go, I say.
I will not till I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me a good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament, that I will go buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent. Well, sir, get you in. I will give you some part of your fortune. I will tarry no longer with you. I pray you leave me.
No further offend you than becomes for my own good.
Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master, he would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankness and give no 1,000 crowns either. Follow Charles!
Good morrow to your worship.
Good morrow, Monsieur Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, no. For the duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that she would have followed her exile, or have died to stay behind. She is at the court now, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never 2 ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old duke live?
They say he is already in the forest of Arden, and a many merry men with him, and there they live like the old Robin Hood of England.
What? You wrestle tomorrow before the new duke?
Marry do I, sir, and I came hither to acquaint you with a matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother, Orlando, hath a disposition to come in disguised against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would be loath to foil him, as I must for my own honor if he come in. Therefore, out of my love to you, I came hither to acquaint you with all, that either you might stay him from his intendment, or brook such disgrace well as he shall run into, in that it is a thing of his own search, and altogether against my will.
Well, Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, and I will find I will most kindly requite. I had myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and by underhand means labored to dissuade him of it, but he is resolute. Therefore, use thy discretion. I had as lief that it's break his neck as his finger, and thou wert best look to it. For if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he does not mightily grace himself on thee, he will practice against thee by poison, entrap thee in some treacherous device, and never leave thee till obtain thy life by some indirect means or other.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come in tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. If ever he go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. And so, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Monsieur Charles. Now will I stir this gamester? I hope I shall see an end of him. For my soul yet, I know not why, hates nothing more than he. But it shall not be so long now. This wrestler shall clear all.
Cause baby, now we got bad love. You know it used to be bad love. So take a look what you've done. Cause baby, now
forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure. Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were as righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have. And truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
I will, coz, and devise sport. Let's see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee, do, to make sport withal. But love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither than with safety of a pure blush. Thou mayest in honor come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, I bid to come for you.
Where learned you that, O fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor the pancakes were good and the mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and I was the knight sworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry now. Unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both now, spruce your beards, and call me a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, so would I, and so would the knight, for if he hadn't, or had, sworn it away before he ever saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is it that thou meanest?
One that Duke Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him. Enough, speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
Aye, as foolish men do speak wisely, as wise men do foolishly.
By my troth thou sayest true, for since the little wit that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of great wrestling, which you have lost sight of.
You tell us the manner of wrestling?
I will tell you the beginning, and if it pleases your ladyships, you will see the end.
Well, the beginning, that is dead and buried.
There comes a man and his 3 sons,
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
with excellent growth and persistence.
With bills on their necks, being known unto all men by these presents?
The eldest of the 3 wrestled Charles, the Duke's wrestler, who at a moment threw him, breaking 4 of his ribs. And so he served the second, and so the third. Yonder they lie, the poor old man in such pitiful dole, so that all men may take part in weeping.
Alas the day! Is there any else who longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another who dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must, for here's a place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege. So please, you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There's such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, clown.
Monsieur the challenger, the princess bid to call for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, Have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come but in as others do. I could try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes, or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir, your reputation shall not be misprized. We'll make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling may not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything, but let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein, if I be foiled, there is but one shamed that was never gracious, is killed, but one dead that was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me, the world no injury, for yet I have nothing, only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
Well, what little strength I have, I would it were with you.
And mine, to eke out hers.
Well, fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come! Where is the young gallant that is so desires to lie with his mother Earth?
Ready, sir, but his will have more modest worth.
You will try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you will not entreat him to a second, that have so mightily persuaded him from a first.
Did you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. Come your ways.
Pray Hercules, be thy speed, young man. Oh, I would I were invisible, to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
I beseech your grace. I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He's breathless with
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did still find him, mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed, had thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant Heath. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, cuz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be heir to Frederick.
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly, and all the world was of my father's mind. If I had known before this young man his son, I should have given him tears unto entreaties, else he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved if you do keep your promise in love. But justly, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. That one out of suits with fortune, that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Oh, shall we go, cuz?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which stands here is but a quinton, mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he will. Gentlemen, did you call? Gentlemen, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies. Him.
Will you go, cuz?
I'm with you.
Oh, what passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown, or Charles, or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I too in friendship counsel thee to leave this place, albeit you have earned high condemnation, true applause and love. The Duke is humorous. He is undoing all that you have done, so that the context be more than I speak of.
I thank you, sir, and pray, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke, that here was at the wrestling?
Neither is his daughter, if judged by manners, but the lesser is his daughter. The other is of the banished Duke, who hath kept here, detained by the usurping uncle, to keep his daughter company, whose love is more dear than the natural bond of sisters. But this lake is the Duke, and he counsels that all people may praise her in her glory and pity her in her sorrow. Sir, fare you well. I better counsel you in a better world than this, to know more love and knowledge.
I rest much bound into you. Fare you well. Thus must I, from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant Duke unto tyrant brother, but heavenly Rosalind,
Why, cousin? Why, Rosalind? Cupid have mercy, not a word? Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, a good wish upon you. You will try in time, in despite of the fall. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, upon such a sudden, that you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By that kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yet I hate not Orlando.
No, faith, hate him not, for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and let you love him because I do. Look, here comes the Duke with his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you your safest case and get you from the court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence, or have acquaintance with mine own desires, that I do not dream, or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, Then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words, they're as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or, if we derive it from our friends, what is that to me? My father was no traitor. Therefore, good my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed her for your sake. Else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. That was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her. But now I know her, and if she be a traitor, why so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, ate together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for me. In her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then unto me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. Eunice, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honor, and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not more grieved than I am. I have more cause. Oh, thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind then lacks the love which teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger would that be to us? Maids as we are, beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because I am more than common tall, that it did suit me, all points, like a man. A gallant curtle axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart. Lie there what hidden woman fears there will have a swashing and a marshal outside, as many other mannish cowards have, that do outface it in their semblances.
But what shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse name than Jove's own page. Therefore look you and call me Ganymede. but what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
Oh, but cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go along over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away, and get us our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from the pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty, and not to banishment.
Now my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath no old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's deference, and the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter wind, which, as it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is not flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, yet wears a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we kill us some venison? And yet it irks me that these poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, would, in their own confines with forked heads, have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord. The melancholy Jacques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today, my lord, I myself did steal behind him, as he lay along under an oak whose antique roots peeps out upon the brook that brawls along this wood, to which place a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt did come to languish, and indeed, my...
But what said Jacques? Did he not moralize the spectacle?
Oh, yes, into 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless stream. Poor dear, quoth he, thou makest a testament, as worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which had too much. Then, being there alone, left and abandoned by his velvet friends, 'tis right, quoth he, thus misery doth part, the flux of company.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of them.
I'll bring you to him straight.
But you, brother in arms, I'd rather I'd lose my limbs than let you come to harm. But you,
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this. That ruinous clown, at whom so oft I was wont to laugh, is also missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses she secretly o'erheard my daughter and cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles. And she believes, wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company. I'll send to his brother to fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, I'll make him find him, to bring again these foolish runaways.
Who's there?
What? Oh, my kind master. Oh, my young master, my sweet master. Oh, you never did, old Sir Roland. Why, what make you here? Your grace has come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, young master, to some kind of men, their graces serve them as but enemies. So do yours, your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. Oh, what a world is this, when all that is comely envenoms him that bears it.
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors, within this roof. The enemy of all your graces lives, your brother, yet not the brother. Yet not the son of him who I would call his father, hath heard your praise, and this night means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. This is no place. This house is a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
That's whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
Wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Yet this I will not do how I can. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I earned under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse. When service should my old limbs lie lame, an unregarded age in corners thrown, take that, and he that doth the ravens feed, yea, prominently caters for the sparrow. Be of comfort to my age. Here is the gold. For all this to say, let me be your servant. Though I look old, I am strong and lusty.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, when service what for duty, not for need. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that to choke their service up. Even with the having it is not so with thee, but poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree, that cannot so much as blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come thy ways, we'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Go on, master, and I will follow thee, to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost 80, here I lived, but now I will live here no more. At 17 years, many their fortunes seek, but at 80 it is too late a week. But fortune cannot recompense me better than to die well and not my master's debtor.
If there's no one beside you in the silver bars, then I'll follow you into the dark. You and me have seen everything to see, from Bangkok to Calgary. The soles of your shoes are all worn down. The time for sleep is now. It's nothing to cry about. 'Cause we'll hope.
Oh, Jupiter! How weary are my spirits!
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman, but I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublets and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena! I pray you, bear with me. I cannot go no further.
I would rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I bear no cross. I know you bear no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Now I am in Arden. The more fool when I was at home. But travelers must be content.
Aye, be so good, Touchstone. Look you, who comes here? A young man and an old and solemn talk.
That is the way to make her thorn you still.
Oh, Warren, that thou knewst how I do love.
I partly guess, for I have loved ere now.
No. Corin, being old thou canst not guess, though in thy youth thou wast a true lover, as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. Or if thou hast not broke from company, abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved, Oh, Phoebe! 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 Phoebe!
Alas! Poor shepherd! Oh, in searching for thy wound, I have hard adventure found mine own.
And mine. I remember when I was in love. I was coming a night to I broke Prince Sword upon a stone, coming a night to Jane's smile, and the kissing of the balder of the cow doves, of which her pretty chopped hand once smelt.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art aware of.
Nay, I ne'er beware of mine own witch until I break my shins against it.
Ah, Jove, Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine. But it grows something stale in me.
I pray you, one of you question yon man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
I'll leave you clown.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, sir.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I pray thee, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us to where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a maid with travel, much oppressed, and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than mine own that my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man. And my master is of churlish disposition. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence. There is nothing that you will feed on.
I prithee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage pasture and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us. And we will mend thy wages. I like this place, and could willingly waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me, and if you like, upon report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly. melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. I can suck melancholy out of a song like a weasel sucks eggs. Come on, more. Sing more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Go, another stanza. Call you them stanzas?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Go, what? Go.
Doth ambition show, and loves to lie in the sun, thinking of food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no end of winter and rough weather.
He loves to lie with me, and to his merry note, unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither.
Oh, master, I can go no further. I die for food. Here lie I down, measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Live a little. Comfort a little. Cheer thyself a little. If this uncalled force yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it food for thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while at the arm's end, and I shall be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I shall give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Thou lookest cheerly, and I'll be with thee quickly. If thou liest in the bleak air, come. I will bear thee to some shelter. And thou shalt not die for lack of dinner. Is there anything in this forest? Cheerly, good Adam.
You know it's true, everything I do. Oh, do it.
I think he'd be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man. But why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool of the forest. A motley fool. Miserable world. As I do live and die by food, I met the fool who laid him down and fast in the sun, and railed on Lady Fortune, in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not a fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his cloak, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, says, very wisely, "'Tis 10 o'clock. Thus you may see," quoth he, "how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago, it was 9. 1 hour more, it will be 11. And so, from hour to hour, we ripe and ripe, and from hour to hour, we brought, and thereby hangs a tale."
What fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that has been a courtier, who says if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, hath strange places crammed with observations, in which he bends in mangled form. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit. Who comes here?
Forbear and eat no more,
Why, I have eaten none yet.
nor shalt not, till necessity be served.
What kind should this cock come up?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress? Or also rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath ta'en for me the show of smooth civility. Yet am I inland bred and know some nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentle.
I almost died for food, and let me have it?
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Pardon me. I pray you, I thought that all things had been savage here.
True it is that we have seen better days, and have with holy vow been known to church, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore, sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your want be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while. Whiles, like a doe, I go find my fawn and give it food. There is but a poor old man who, after me, hath many a weary step, limped in pure love, till he be first sufficed. Oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger, I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
Thank you.
Thou seest we are not all alone and happy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play.
All the world's a stage. The men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man, in his time, plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first an infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then a whining schoolboy with satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then a lover, sighing like a furnace, with woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like a pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then justice, and fair capon lined, fair round belly, eye severe, beard of formal cut, full of wise saws in modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into lean and slippered pantaloon, spectacles on nose, pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, his shrunk shank too wide for this world. The last scene of all to end this eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Sit down, your venerable burden, and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need, I can scarce speak to thank for myself.
Welcome, welcome. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us music, and, good cousin, sing. As you have whispered faithfully you were. Be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Not seen him since. Sir, that cannot be. But were I not the better part made mercy, I should not seek an absent argument of my revenge thou present. But look to it. Find out thy brother, wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead or living within this 12 month. Or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things thou dost call thine, worth seizure do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Well, push him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently, and turn him them.
Hang there, my verse in witness of my love, and thou thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above. Thy huntress name that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character. That every eye in which this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste and unexpressive she.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect, it is a shepherd's life. It is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. It is in the fields. Look you, it fits my humor well. But it is not in the court. It is tedious, and hath no more plenty in it. Hast any philosophy in the shepherd?
No more, but that I know, the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is, and that he that wants money, means, and content is without 3 good friends. That the property of rain is to wet, and fire to burn. That good pastures make fat sheep. That a great cause of the night is lack of the sun. That he that hath learned no wit by nature nor art may complain of good breeding, or come to the very dull kindred.
Such one a natural philosopher. Wast ever in the court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
Thou art damned like an ill-roasted egg, on one side.
For not being at court thy reason.
If thou never wert at court, thou never learnest good manners. If thou never learnest good manners, then thou art wicked. And wickedness goes to damnation. Thou art in a perilous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that are good manners in the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You told me you salute not at court, but kiss your hands? That courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, Count, briefly, instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes. And their fells, you know, are
Greasy.
From the east to western Ind, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth, being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you 8 times together. Dinners and suppers and sleeping hours expected. That is the right butter woman's rank to the markets.
Out, fool.
For a taste. If marked like a hind, let them seek out Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. He that the cat will find, so shall after Rosalind. Nay, that reap and sheep in mind, then couch with Rosalind. Sweetest nut has sourest rind, such a nut as Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find love's prick and Rosalind. These are the very false garments of verses. Why do you inflict yourself upon them?
Peace, you dull fool. I found them on the trees.
Truly the tree yields bad fruit.
Peace, I say. Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside. Why should this a desert be? Tongues I'll hang on every tree. But upon the fairest boughs will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite, heavenward in little show.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage and scrip and scrimmage.
Didst thou hear these verses? Oh, yes, I heard them, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear. That's no matter, the feet might bear the verses. Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse. But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved into these trees? Oh, I was 7 out of the 9 days out of wonder before you came. For look here what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time, when I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember. Know you who hath done this? Is it a man? And a chain, which you once wore about his neck. Change you color? I prithee who? Oh, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes, and so encounter. Nay, but who is it? Is it possible? Oh, I prithee, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful. And after that, and of all hooping, good my complexion. Dost thou think, though I am comparisoned like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay would warrant a south sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me who it is, and speak apace. Ah, I wouldst thou could stammer, that thou might pour this concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once, or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I might drink thy tidings. It is young Orlando, that tripped up the wrestler's heels, and your heart, both in an instant. Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true maid. Aye, faith, 'cause it is he. Orlando? Alas the day! Oh, what should I do with my doublet and hose? What didst he when thou sawest him? How looked he? Where went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? What became of me? How parted with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word! I found him under a tree drops forth such fruit. Give me audience, good madam, proceed. There lay he, stretched along, like a wounded knight. Oh, though it be a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground. Fly, holla to thy tongue, I prithee. It curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter. Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart. I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bringest me out of tune. Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on. You bring me out. Soft, comes he not here? Oh, 'tis he! Slip by and know him.
I thank you for your company, but I had as lief had been myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees by writing love songs on their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name.
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
The worst fault you can have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I would not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There I shall see my own figure.
Which I take to either be a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Goodbye, Monsieur Love.
Goodbye, Monsieur Melancholy.
Oh, I'll speak to him like a saucy lackey, and with that habit play knave.
Do you hear, Forrester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With Miss Shepherdess, my sister, here on the skirts of the forest, like fringe on a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
I, the Connie that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent, something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one who knew courtship very well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank heaven I am not a woman to be touched by so many giddy offenses, as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that you laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal, but they were each like one another, as halfpence are, each one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
Nay, I will not cast away my physique, but on those that are sick. There is a man who haunts this forest, who abuses our young plants by carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies upon brambles, all, forsooth, defying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet this fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray you tell me your remedy.
There are none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not, but I pardon you for that, for simply your having a beard is but a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You seem rather point device in your countenance of loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
But are you he that hangs the verses on the trees, wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he. That unfortunate he.
But are you so in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason could express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I say deserves as much a whip and dark house as madmen do. And the reason it is not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet, I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure me so?
I won. And in this manner, he was to imagine me his love, his mistress. And I set him every day to woo me, at which time I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing, liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for passion something, and for no passion, truly anything, as boys and women are oft cattle of this color. I would like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then spit at him, now weep for him. And thus I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear a full stream of the world, and live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And thus will I take it upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there might not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you were to call me Rosalind and come every day to woo me.
By the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
I will show it you. And by the way, you can tell me where in this forest you live. Come, will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, grass isn't very good.
No. Not that. Definitely not that. Look what we have here.
Human food is always very good.
What do you say? Shall we go feast on human roses?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go get the concessions.
As the sheep say, go get some snacks.
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fit your goats. And now, Audrey, doth my simple feature content you?
Here, features. Lord warned us what features.
I am here with you. thy jokes as a caprous poet. Oh, honest Ovid among the gods.
Oh, knowledge, ill-inhabited, worse than Job in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's wit seconded by the forward child, it strikes a man more hard than a great reckoning in a little word. I pray that God make thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest indeed in word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is feigning, and lovers are given to poetry. And what they say in poetry, as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do truly, for if I had thee honest, I would hope thou were a poet, for thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
I do truly, as hard favour, or beauty is coupled to honesty as honey sauce to sugar.
A material fool!
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
I will marry thee, and to that end I have been with Sir Oliver Martell, the vicar of the next village, who has promised me to marry thee in these weeks.
I would fain to see this meeting.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen. Amen. For we have no temple but this tree, no assembly but hornbeats. Sir Oliver Martez, you are very well met. Will you marry us under this tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none to give the woman?
No, there is not.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Go forth. I will give her.
Good master. What do you call it? You are very well met. Even with a toy in hand here. Sir, nay, pray be come.
Will you be married, Motley?
That's not. Well, horse is curved. Stuck in his bell, so would red slacking his wings.
And you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church and have a good priest tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot. And then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, warp and warp.
I am not in mind, but I like this man, so I may hereafter leave my wife.
Go thou with me, and let me counsel thee.
I will marry thee, or we will live in bothering. Farewell, good Oliver. Oh, sweet Oliver. Oh, brave Oliver. But wind away. Be gone, I say. I will not do anything.
Tis no matter. Their fantastical knave of them all shall flout me out of my calling. master. You have often inquired after the shepherd that complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexions of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I will conduct you, if you will mark it.
Come, let us remove. The sight of lovers beateth those that are in love. Bring us hither, and you shall say, I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Shut the door! And you're too late on the bad
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me, but say not so. In bitterness, the common executioner, whose heart, accustomed to the sight of death, makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck. Will you sterner be than he that lives and dies by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty sure and very probable, the eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on enemies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now, counterfeit to swoon, why now fall down? Or, if thou canst not, oh, for shame, why not to say mine eyes are murderers? Now show the wound mine eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean but upon a rush, the cicatrix incapable of pressure, thy palm some moment keeps. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor, I am sure, there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, Phoebe, if ever as ever that may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, you will know these wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time come not thou near me, and when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray thee? Who might be your mother, that you insult, exalt, and all at once, over the wretched? Why thou, you have no beauty. I see no more in you than may, without candle, go dark to bed. Must you be, therefore, so proud and pitiless? What means this? Why look you so upon me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's cell work. Oh, my little life! I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. It is not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your cheek of cream, nor your bugle eyeball that could attain my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd, you, wherefore do you follow her, like foggy south puffing with wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a properer man than she, a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that make the world full of ill-favored children. It is not her glass, but you that flatters her, and through you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But, mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees and thank heaven thing for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can, you are not for all markets.
Sweet youth, I pray you, chide a year together. I had rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with her foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray thee, do not fall in love with me. I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Well, come, let us go. Shepherd, ply her hard. Ugh, come, sister.
Dead, shepherd. Now I find I saw of might. Whoever loved that looked not at first sight.
Phoebe,
What sayest thou, Sylvius?
sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Sylvius. Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft. He hath bought the cottage in Bounds the old Carlock was once master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy, yet he talks well. But what care I for words, and yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. 'Tis a pretty youth, not very pretty. 'Tis not very tall, yet for his years he's tall. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There is a pretty redness in his lip. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet, I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes are black, and my hair black, and now I am remembered, scorned at me. I marvel why I answered not again, but that's all one. Admittance is no quittance. I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it, wilt thou, Sylvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with him in passing short. Go with me, Sylvius.
I try to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh, baby, refrain.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? And you, a lover, you serve me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My dear Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love. He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of the 1,000th part of a minute. It may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him o'er the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy. Never come in my sight more. I had as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him. I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath the Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me, for now I am in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Oh, nay, you were better speak first, and if you were gravelled, for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you up into entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
Marry, that should you. If I were your mistress, I should think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What of my suit?
Not out of your apparel, but out of your suit, yes. Am not I your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person I say, I will not have you.
Then in mine own person I die.
No, but these are lies, Orlando. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right, Rosalind, of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand it will not kill a fly. But come now, I will be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition. Ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
I and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Well then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall play the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What say you, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin with, will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why now as fast as she can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I may ask for your permission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for husband. Aye, there goes a girl before her priest, and surely her thoughts run before her actions.
So do all thoughts therewith.
Tell me, how long will you have her after you've possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Say the day without the ever! No, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, and December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids. But the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over her hen. More giddy in my desires than a monkey, more clamorous than a parrot in the rain. I will laugh like a hyena when thou art inclined to sleep, and I will weep for nothing like Diana in the fountain. So, I pray thee, be gone.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I must leave.
Alas, sweet love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock, I'll be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me over. Oh, 'tis but one cast away, and so come death! 2 o'clock is your hour?
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
If you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her that you call Rosalind. That may be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou were indeed my Rosalind. So I do.
Well, time is the old justice, and so examines all such offenders. So let time try.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prat. We must have your doublet and hose plucked up over your head and show the world what the bird hath done to her own nest.
Oh, cuz! My pretty little cuz! That thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love! Oh, but it cannot be sounded. My love hath no bottom, like the Bay of Portugal!
Or rather, bottomless, that as fast as you pour affection in, it runneth
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this, though I know not the contents, I may guess by the stern brow and waspish action she used when writing it. It bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, for I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter. Her love is not the hare that I do hunt. Oh, why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Oh, come. You are a fool and turned unto the extremity of love. I saw her hand. She has a leathern hand.
Sure. And it is hers.
Why, it is a boisterous and cruel style. Will you hear the letter?
So it please you, for I never heard it yet. I've heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why, thy Godhead laid apart, warst thou with a woman's heart. Did you ever hear such railing? While the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, of the scorn of your bright eye, have power to raise such love in mine. Alack in me, what strange effect would they work in mild aspect? Whiles you did chide, I did love. How then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me, and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful after take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd, do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What, to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee, not to be endured? Well, shepherd, go your ways to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and tell her this from me, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her, unless thou entreat for her. Now, you be a true lover hence, and not a word, for here comes more company. Good morrow, the fair ones. I pray you, if you know where in the purliest of this forest stands a sheepcote fenced about with olive trees.
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom. But at this hour the house doth keep itself, there's none within.
If that mine eye should know you by description, such garments and such years. The boy is fair, female favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister. The woman low and browner than her brother. Are not you the owners of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast, being asked, to say that we are.
Orlando doth commend me to you both. And to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends his bloody napkin.
Tis I. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, what man I am, and how and why and when and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last young Orlando left you, he made a promise to return again, within an hour, and pacing through forest, chewing on food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell? He threw his eye aside, and marked what object did present itself. Under an old oak, a wretched, ragged man, o'ergrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. About his neck a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, and with her head nimble in threats approached the opening of his mouth, but suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented glides did slip away under a bush. Under which bush's shade lay a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, crouching, head on ground, with cat-like watch. For 'tis the royal disposition of the beast to prey on all that doth seem as dead. And seeing this, Orlando did approach the man, and saw it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same man, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
Well, he might so do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando! Did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice he did turn his back, and purpose so, but kindness nobler ever than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, and hurtling from miserable slumber, I awakened.
Are you his brother? Was it you he rescued? Was it you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Tis I, but 'tis not I do not shame to tell you the man I am, for conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin!
By and by, Orlando led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly unto his cave, there stripped himself, and thereupon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, and all this while had bled, and Orlando fainted, and in fainting cried out upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small apace, and being strong at heart, Orlando sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell you this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and to that use he causes Rosalind to give his handkerchief stained in his blood.
No, Ganymede. Oh, sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There is more in it. Cousin Ganymede.
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
Oh, we'll lead you thither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man. You lack a man's heart.
So I do. Ah, sirrah! A body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited to swoon. I hope.
This was not counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion that this was a passion of earnest.
No, counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, counterfeit to be a man.
Oh, I do. But I faith I should have been a woman by right. Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you, draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
I must bear answer back to my brother. Will you excuse his promise? Rosalind.
I will devise something, but I pray you, commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go?
High on a hill was a lonely goat house lane,
little acquaintance you should like her, and that by seeing you should love her, and loving wooing she should grant, and will you preserve her to enjoy her?
Call it not the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, nor her sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her, she loves me. Consent with us both that we may enjoy each other. But it shall be to your good, for my father's house and all the money in Sir Roland's will I state upon you. And here lives and dies a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow, to the one I invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you and prepare Aliena, for, look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother, and you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando! How it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf!
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded by the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Oh, did your brother tell you how well I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden as the fighting of two rams and Caesar's personical brag of I came, saw, and overcame. But your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but sought the remedy. And in these degrees, they have made a pair of stairs to marriage that they will climb incontinent, or else be incontinent before marriage. They are in the very wraths of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much tomorrow shall I be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you no longer then with idle talks. Know of me then, for now I speak with some purpose. Believe in me that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3 years old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art, yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries out, then tomorrow, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her. I know unto what straits of fortune she is driven, and it appear not impossible to me, if it be not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is, and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life, I do, which I tender dearly, but I say, I am a magician. So, put you in your best array, and bid all your friends come tomorrow, for you shall be married, and to Rosalind, if you will. Oh, look you, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
Youth, you have done me much ungentleness to show the letter that I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. Look you, you are here followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him, he worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be made of all sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be made of all faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be made all of fantasy, all made of passion, made of wishes, all adoration, all duty, all observance, all humbleness, all patience, all impatience, all purity, all trial, and all observance. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why, who do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, or doth not here.
I pray you no more of this! It is like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me all together. I will marry you if ever I marry a woman, and I shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well. I have left my commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
What is
Tomorrow is the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow we'll be married.
I do desire it with all of my heart, and I hope it is no dishonest desire to desire to be a woman of the world. Look, here comes two of the banished Duke's pages.
Well met, honest gentlemen.
Well met. Come, sit.
We are
Sit
for you.
And a song.
We are for you. Sit in the middle.
Shall we clap into roundly, without hawking or spitting or sitting in our course, which are the only prologues to a bad voice?
I faith, and both in tune, like two gypsies on a horse. It was a lover and his laugh, with a hay, with a hoe, and a hay. Nanny no, with a hay. Nanny, nanny no. That o'er the green cornfields did pass in springtime, in springtime, in springtime, the only pretty ring time when birds do sing. Hey ding a ding a ding, hey ding a ding a ding, hey ding a ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring in springtime. In springtime, the only pretty ring time when birds do sing. Hey ding a ding a ding, hey ding a ding a ding, hey ding a ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Though there was no matter in the ditty, the note was very untunable.
You must be deceived, sir. He kept his time, he lost not his time.
And I have counted my time. God be with you, and God mend your voice. Come, sweet.
I'm better
promise?
I sometimes do believe, and sometimes do not. As those that fear they hope, and know they fear.
Patience once more while our compact is urged. You say if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here?
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you will have her when I bring her?
Is that what I, where I have all kingdoms king?
You say you'll marry me if I be willing.
That will I, should I die thereafter.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So is the bargain.
You say you'll have Phoebe, if she will?
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
Well, I've promised to make all this doubts even. Keep your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. Yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep your word, Phoebe, that you'll marry me. Or, if you will not, wed this shepherd. And keep your word, Silvius, that you'll marry her. When she refuse me. And from hence I go, to make all these doubts even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time I ever met him, he thought he was a brother to your daughter. But, my good lord, this boy is forest born.
There is sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here come a pair of very strange beasts, which on all tongues are called fools.
Salutations and greetings to you all.
Good, my lord. Bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I so often met in the forest. He has been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let them put me to my probation. For I have trotted a knot, wooed a lady, talked political with my friends, smooth with thine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors, fought 4 quarrels, and like to have won 1.
And how is that ta'en up?
Faith, we met, and it was against the 7th cause.
How the 7th cause? Good, my lord. Like this fellow.
I like him very much. God ill to you, sir. I desire you approve. I have pressed in here, sir, as the rest of the countryside calculables, to swear and forswear as blood breaks and marriage binds. A poor virgin, ill favored me. And my humor, that I take that no man will, rich, honesty in marriage, as a pearl in a foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's bolt, it is such a dulcet disease.
Is not this a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that, he shoots his wit.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. And to you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I will have no father if you be not he. I will have no husband if you be not he. Nor e'er wed woman if you be not she.
Peace ho, like our confusion. 'Tis I who must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 8 that must take hands to join in holy bands, if truth holds true contests. You and you, no thought shall part. You and you are heart and heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. And you are to each other, as the winter to foul weather. And as a wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves questioning, and reason wonder may diminish how thus we met. and how these things finish. O my dear niece, welcome thou art to me, even daughter in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith, my fancy doth combine.
Let me have audience for a word or two. I am the second son of old Cyril. Oh, brothers! Oh, I missed you. I bring tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how every day men of great worth do resort to this forest, addressed a mighty power which were on foot, and in his own conduct did purposely come to his brother here to put him to the sword. To the skirts of the wild wood he came, where, with meeting with an old religious man, and after some question with him was converted from both his enterprise and the world. His crown he doth bequeath to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them that were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. Thou offers fairly to thy brother's wedding. To one his lands withheld, and to the other a land itself at large, a potent duke. First, in this forest we shall do those ends that here were well begun and well begot. And after, every of this happy number that hath endured true days and nights with us, shall enjoy the good of our returned fortune, according to the measure of their states. Meantime, forget this newfound dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry. And you, brides and bridegrooms all, with measures heaped in joy, to the measures fall. Proceed, we'll begin these rites, as we trust the land in true delights.
One, two, three, four.
the lady, the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the Lord, the prologue. If it is true that good wine needs no bush, then it is true that a good play needs no epilogue. However, now for the epilogue. It is my way to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, that you may like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by all of your simpering, none of you hates them, that between you and the women, the play may please. If I were a woman,
I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I am sure, by my kind offer, for as many of you as have good beards and good faces and sweet breaths will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
Inspiration and a blessing to us all. You've done so much for all of us. I don't know where to start. So I'll just start with the most important part. You make this place a family. You make this group a family. No matter who we are, no matter what our different beliefs are, you bring us together. All the world is a stage, but you make this stage a home.
To be able to share the love of Shakespeare, but also to watch all of these kids grow. And they're your children, they're your friends, you know it. They're amazing kids. Guys, go out and greet your fans. They're going to go out in the hallway and tell them
They would like to thank you folks for being a real nice guest. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their thespianity. Shakespeare, that is. Should have spelled, plot a lot. Y'all come back now, you hear?
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Wear this for me. I'm out of suit with horse. That could give more, but that her hand.
like the blooper reel.